If you've ever dreamed of creating your own feminine empowerment journal or brand, you're in the right place because you're about to learn exactly how you can create these empowering journal covers. And best of all, you can do so with or without Canva Pro. So get ready because this video is packed with freebies, feminine power, and everything you need to jumpstart your most creatively empowered era right now. So welcome and let's get started. For your own time convenience and ease, please feel free to surf through this video's sections according to your liking and needs because you are in charge, beautiful, so own it. So I recently asked you guys to vote for your favorite empowerment journal cover styles, and these were your faves, which I'm super excited to create along with you. So the intention of this tutorial series is to empower you, to celebrate the creative power that lies inside of you, so that you can allow yourself to start feeling genuinely good about the person that you are, not for the attention, gaze, admiration, or approval of anyone else but yourself. And celebrate that fantastic power that you can access anytime and use it to start your own brand for whichever purpose or creative passion you wish to pursue in your life. Let's let your most creative self bloom and thrive while doing what you love the most. But not only that, to do so while learning how to set achievable goals for yourself, start making your own money, and setting yourself up for a fulfilling and financially independent life. Okay, so the first journal cover that we'll be creating is this one, which is the Empower journal cover. And in order to create this, we'll just go to our homepage in Canva and then click Create a Design. Once we click on Create a Design, we're going to just type in notebook cover and see what shows up. You'll get two types, which is the notebook cover 8.5 by 11 inches. And this is the one that you want if you want to print this out. Or if you want to do it in digital size, you can use this 1950 by 1218 pixels. So I'm going to choose the print size because of the purpose that I'll be using, but you can choose whichever one works best for you. Okay, so once in here, we're going to go to our background color and switch it to black because this will help us in our design process. Next, we'll go to elements and then go to shapes and choose a square shape. We'll just reposition this square to the top left corner of our design. While pressing the Shift key on your keyboard, just resize this and make it 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. Like that. Next, just duplicate this and then just go to position and send it to the right and then to the bottom. And as you'll see, these two squares have been positioned at the opposite corners of your design. Now just go to File, Settings, and click Show Rulers and Guides. Next, simply drag from this ruler on the left side to position your guides. And this will help us establish our safe area, which is the area where our most important elements should be. Next, we can start adding our elements. So for that, we'll just go to Text and click Add a Heading. So I'm just going to type this journal's name. And you can resize this by pressing the Option key on your keyboard and then just drag your text outward. Like that. Next, I'll pick the font that I'll be using. And for this example, the font that I'll be using is this, Brush. So for the size, I will be using a 147 point size. And just reposition it to the center. And then just adjust the spacing to be a little closer, like that. Okay, great. So now that we have this ready, we can start adding the tagline for our journal cover or our notebook cover. So again, just click on Add a Heading and then just reposition this to the bottom. Here I'll just type a journal for, and then just resize it like that. And then I'll just start adding the second part of the tagline. And again, you can resize this in case your second line is a little bit longer than your first. So the font that I'll be using here is the Montserrat. So I'll just look for that and then just resize it a little bit to like that. And I just think I'm going to give this a little bit more spacing in between the characters, like that. And I'll use the same font for the second line of this tagline. So for that purpose, I'll just click on more and then just click on this copy style and then just click on the second line of my tagline and just resize it a little bit. This is a creativity empowerment journal, but you can make it any kind of journal that you want. If you want to make this final line different, you can just choose whichever one works best for your brand. So I'll be typing here creative era because this journal is for stepping into your most creative era. So for now, we're just going to leave this like this. And then you can add your logo by dragging and dropping it into your Canva files. Just reposition it at the top and then just place it right above the title. And for this creative era font, I'll be using two styles for you to pick your favorite. So the first style that I'll be using is the Have Heart one, which is this one, and this is a pro font, but if you don't have Canva Pro, no worries, because I have a workaround for this. So for now, I'm just going to make this a little bit larger, like that. Adjust the spacing in between the characters to be a little bit closer together, and then just adjust this. You can always just use the guides to help you know if you are in line with your text. And then I'll just insert a line stroke. So I'll just look for line stroke and then just click on graphics. And then just look for an option that works well with the look that you're going for. And I think this one looks good, but you can choose whichever one you like. And then just make any adjustments to the size and positioning. Again, if you don't have a Canva Pro account, I'll be teaching you how to do this without Canva Pro too. Once you're happy with your design, you can go ahead and just add a texture to your background, which you can take from Canva's library. Or if you like the example that we're using here, which is this one, you can go ahead and click on the link below, or just go to kittymogul.com/freetexturesgallery. You can use this for any commercial or personal projects that you have. I'll be linking down below if you want. So you just go ahead and pick your favorite. The one that I'll be using is this one. So I'll just click on that. And once in here, just go to the top right corner and click on download and download that to your computer. And once you've downloaded this into your computer, just click on it and drag it into your design. And once it's uploaded, simply click on it. And as you'll see, you can just resize it and reposition it wherever you need. You can always use your layers panel. Just go to position, layers, and as you'll see, you can drag this to the very bottom of your elements. If you want to keep your squares for now, it's okay. you can always delete them later. Now I'll change the background to white and then just reposition this so that it covers the entire canvas. So now that you have this ready, you can always just make any adjustments to your design if you want to make any elements larger or smaller depending on your case. And for this title, I think I'll be using a lift effect. So for that, I'll just go to Effects, Lift, and just adjust the intensity of this effect. Now for the workaround, in case you don't have Canva Pro, I'm just going to duplicate this by copying and pasting it. And this is a font that I found that it's free and it's also very aesthetic. So in case you want to use it and achieve a very similar effect, it's called Handleson 1. And then you can just make any adjustments to the size. So this one is a Pro Element 2. What I'll use is just look for another stroke line and try to find a free one. This is a free one and it's very similar. So I'll just replace that and use that instead. And for the color, I'll use the same white that I used before. So a very useful tip for centering these elements is just to group them and then just go to Position, Arrange, and then just click on Center. And now they're centered. So as you can see, this is our first journal cover, and you can make any adjustments that you want to the size, or you can always choose a different style from the gallery or whichever one you want, another one that you really like. So I'll be making an option with this texture, and for that I'll just click on Get This Texture and then just download it and simply just drag and drop it into my design. So once it's uploaded, I'll just be duplicating this and replacing the background for this one. So as you can see, you can just pick your favorite style. Just remember to delete your little squares at the corners of your design. And once your design is ready, if you want to print it out, remember you can do so by going to Share, Download, and then click PDF Print in case you're printing this out. If you are using it on digital format, you can always use the PDF standard, but if you're printing this out, just pick PDF Print. Here, you can select the page that you will be using or printing out, and you have the option to include crop marks and bleed. You can include this if you want. It's highly recommended. And for the color profile, it's also recommended to use the CMYK color system. But if you don't have Canva Pro, I recently made a test with this and the difference wasn't really that much, to be honest with you. So if you don't have a Canva Pro account, you can use the RGB and it should work fairly fine. So I'll be using the CMYK and then I'll just click on download. Once this is downloaded into your computer, it has the crop marks ready so that when you print this out, you can make the cuts properly. And now we'll be creating this journal cover called Powerful She, a journal for authentic creative empowerment. We'll just go to our homepage in Canva and then click Create a Design. We can use the notebook cover size of 8.5 by 11 inches. And once in here, we'll just change our background color to black and now start adding our elements. So for that, just go to Text, click Add a Heading, and the first element that I'll be adding is the text at the center, which is the word she. And I'll just upsize that a little bit. Next, I'll click on Add a Heading again. And now type the word powerful. Then I'll just click on this while pressing the Option key on my keyboard and drag it down to duplicate it. And now add the tagline. And resize this. and duplicate this again by clicking the Option key and dragging it down. And then just write the second line of this journal's tagline. Any line that you like, but I'm just adding this for the purpose of this example. Once you have your titles ready, we'll be adding our fonts. So for this one, I'll be using the Montserrat, and then just adjust the size to a size that you like. And you can also adjust the letter spacing for your characters to be a little bit more spaced out. So for the sheet, I'll be using the Playfair display. I'll just remove the bold. I'll just make some layout adjustments here. And then just using the actual font that I'll be using here, which is the Montserrat. But this one, I think I will be using a smaller size. And the characters a little bit more spaced out than at the top. And since I want this to be very similar to the first line, I'll just click on it, then click More, Copy Style, and then just click here, and that will copy and paste the same style. And then just make any sizing and layout adjustments that you need. Next, you can add your logo. I like to add mine at the top, like that. So by zooming out, I see that these elements are a little bit too far at the top, so I'll just select them all and just bring them back down to the center a little bit more. And for grid and layout purposes, the same square trick here. So if you have it from the previous design, you can just copy and paste it. But if you didn't create it, just go to Elements and add a square shape, place it at the top left corner, and then just resize it to be 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. Once you have this one ready, just duplicate it by dragging it down while pressing the Option key on your keyboard, and then just go to Position, click Right and Bottom. Now you can simply drag your guides to make sure that your design's elements stay within the safe area of your design. So as I can see, this is a little bit too far at the limit of the safe area, so I'll just downsize the text a little bit, like that. I'm now ready to add my background. So the background that I'll be using is from the free textures and backgrounds gallery at Kitty Mogul. I'll be linking down below if you want to take advantage of that too. So I'll be choosing this style for this example, and then I'll just download that into my computer. And once it's downloaded, I'll just drag and drop it into my design. And once it's uploaded, simply click it and adjust its size to cover your entire design. Then just go to Position, Layers, and you can drag it to the very back. If you want, you can delete your little squares that you created for guidance. And next, you can always highlight certain elements if you want. A way to do this is to just change your text color to another one. So for this example, I use this shade of yellowish orange, but you can adjust it to any shade that you want. And remember that you can always make this text a little thicker if you want to. You can do so by going to Effects, Outline, and then choosing the same color of your text and then decreasing the thickness of your outline. If you want to highlight this text a little bit more, you can always just duplicate it by copying and pasting it and placing it exactly at the top. Then just go to Position and pick the one that's at the bottom, and then just change the effect to lift, and that will give your text a little bit more of a lift effect. You can always make your logo more intense too. And remember to go to Position and change your background white, and make sure that your background covers your entire design and no white or empty areas are left. Once your design is ready, you can just click on Share, Download, select your file type, which in case you're printing this will be PDF print, or in case you're sharing this to digital media, you can always use the PDF standard size. And the PDF print is a little bit of a larger file, but it will have higher quality, which is required for printing. Remember, if you want to print this out, it's always recommended to include your crop marks and bleed, and it's also recommended to use the CMYK color system. But if you don't have a Canva Pro account, you can always use the RGB and then click download. And now we'll be creating this empowerment journal cover, which is the Dare to Dream Big journal. So to do this, we'll just go to our homepage in Canva and once again select the notebook cover size. Once in here, we'll just switch our background color to black and go to text, add a heading, and type the name of our journal. I will duplicate this by dragging it while pressing the Option key on my keyboard. And then just add the tagline for this journal. And this is the journal title and tagline that I'm using, but you can use any title and tagline that better fits your brand's image. And next, I'll be doing some sizing and layout adjustments. And next, I'll be adding my logo. Next, I will be centering the elements a little bit more. And what I'll do now is start switching to the actual fonts that we'll be using. I'll be adding the actual font, which is bright retro. And then I'll just adjust the size to be a larger size. And the line spacing, I'll be reducing it a little bit more. And for this at the top, I'll be using the Montserrat font at a smaller size. And adjust the letter spacing to be a little bit more spaced out. I'll be copying and pasting this format by selecting my text, clicking More, click the Copy Style tool, and click the text at the bottom. Just resize this to be a little bit smaller. And now that we have this layout ready, we're ready to add our background. So for that purpose, I'll be going to our free textures and backgrounds gallery. You can find this by clicking the link below if you want, or just go to kittymogul.com/freetexturesgallery. And this is the texture that I'll be using. So I'll just download that into my computer. And once it's downloaded, I'll just drag and drop it into my design. And once it's uploaded, just click on it and position it to cover your entire page. You can always resize it to make sure that no empty areas are left. And you can always go to position and drag it to the very back. Next, I'll be changing the background color to white again and just checking to see that there are no empty spaces. So our layout is almost ready, so you can just go ahead and adjust your text to fit the space that you have available for the background that you chose, or in case you chose this background, you can center your elements. So for the title, you can always stick to the white color, or you can always just adjust it to a lighter shade of green maybe. So this is the shade that I chose for this example. And for these two titles, at the top and the bottom, I will be using a slightly different color. I think I will be using more of a yellowish tint, like that. And for the logo, I will keep the white, but I will only be adjusting the transparency a little bit, like that. And then to give this Dream Big title a little bit more depth, what I'll be doing is just going to Effects and choosing Shadow. And for the shadow, I'll be choosing a darker shade of green. And I'll be adding a little bit more transparency to it so that it looks a little bit darker. Adjust the offset and the direction. Great, so our journal cover is almost ready. You can always use the edit image feature that Canva offers that lets you erase some elements. So for example, if some of the elements in the background are interfering with your text a little bit, you can always magically erase them by just brushing over them and then just click erase. But this is just optional in case you want to polish your design a little bit more. You can always make any other adjustments, like adding any more saturation to your elements or vibrance to the color, in case that's something that you want to do. And once you're happy with how your journal cover looks, you can just click on Share, Download, select your file type, which depending on what you're going to do, whether that's printing it or just using it on digital format. So for this example, I'll be using the PDF standard for digital format. You can select that and then just click Download. And once it's downloaded into your computer, you can always just check to make sure that your design turned out the way you intended. And now this journal cover design is ready to be added to your journal in case you're working on it. Or if you want to add any more pages to it, you can keep adding more pages, which is something that we'll be doing later in the series, so stick around for that. So now we'll create this super cute quote page that you can use to highlight any quotes that you love from your favorite authors or from yourself. You love to share your own quotes. We'll go to our homepage in Canva and select the notebook cover size, which is the same size as a standard letter size. And these are just example measurements, but you can use any dimensions or measurements that fit your project. So once in here, we'll start adding our elements, and for that, I'll go to Elements and look for a purple feather texture. And you can use resources from Canva Pro, or you can also use Canva free resources. And I like this one, which is a free one. This is the one that I'll be using. I'll just be rotating it. And then just make some positioning adjustments. Next, I will be adding a purple bokeh effect. And for this, you can always use Canva Pro resources like these. Or you can choose Canva free options too. Then just make any adjustments to the size. And what I'll be doing is just adding some transparency to this. Like that. And next, what I'll be doing is just searching for some magenta gradient. And this is just the example that I'm using, but you can add any gradient color that you like. I think I will also be adding a darker purple gradient, which in this case I will be using this one that is free. And not only is it free, but it's also editable, so you can change the shade of purple that you will be using. So I'll just go to my layers panel and maybe just do some adjustments, like changing the color of the background to be a little bit darker, so that when the other elements start having a little bit less of a transparency effect, some of this color will transpire onto those colors too. And just make any layout and sizing adjustments that you want to make. And once you're ready to add your quote, just go to Text, click Add a Heading, and you can change your text color to white. And then you can just copy and paste or type your quote. You can always add your name at the bottom by clicking Add a Heading once again, and then just adding your name. You can always center this by going to Position, Arrange, Center. Next, if you want, you can add a quote symbol by by searching for a quote and just go to graphics and find any options that really jump to your eye. These are pro options, and you also have available some free options as well. And this is a font option that I very much like, and it's also free. The size, I will be increasing it a little bit more, and the letter and the line spacing, I will be decreasing it, so my lines are a little bit closer together. And to give this text a little bit more thickness, I'll just go to Effects and go to Outline, select a white outline, and next just adjust it to be a little bit thicker. Great, so next I will be changing this font below, and for this font I will be using the Playfair display font without the bold style, and maybe decrease the size a little bit more. In Effects, I'll just add a white outline as well. You can always add any additional bokeh elements if that's something that you like. And just test and see what works well with your design and your branding. So this is a free option, and there's also another option with a different, which is the Buffalo font, and this also has a script style, but this one is a little bit thicker, so I will be keeping the outline thickness to a 1 point. Remember that you can always add your logo if this is something that's important for this particular project. In case you're growing a brand, it's always recommended that you include your logo or at least your brand's name in some way. Great, so once your quote page is ready, if you're still working on your journals project here on Canva, you can always just copy and paste it and add it to your design in case this is your journal's first page, or if it's maybe an accent page that you want to add to make your journal's design look prettier and overall more aesthetically pleasing. Or if you just want to export this and print it right away or share it as an image, you can always just go to Share, Download, and select your file type. So in case you're sharing this as an image, you can just use the PNG format or a JPEG. But in case you're sharing this as a document, it's always more recommended to use a PDF format. And if you're using it for print purposes, a PDF print is best. For a PDF standard, you just have to download it. But if it's for a PDF print, it's always recommended to add your crop marks and bleed, and then just select the page that you want to share, or in case you're sharing them all, and then just select the color system. By default is RGB, which is free with Canva Free, but if you're using Canva Pro and you're printing this out, a CMYK color system might be more recommended, but you can use the option that's available for you at the time. And then just click download, and then you can just go ahead and download your file and make sure that everything in your design looks right. And now you'll be ready to go. If you like this video tutorial, I'm sure you'll love the second part of this series, where I'll be sharing with you how to apply these glitter texture techniques to make your designs pop up even more. The world needs you, beautiful. Always remember that.